Welcome, everyone. You are listening to Get Out of Your Own Way with me, April Yee, on Transformation Talk Radio. Get out of your way and get what you want through transformative self-care. I'm here to support you in getting out of your own way. So, what does getting in your own way look like? Well, how about letting other people define your value and worth, ignoring your body by not taking care of yourself, and people-pleasing? These are just a few ways I've gotten in my own way. In this show, I'll share new perspectives on self-care practices so you can discover options and choices for expanding what's possible for you and your life. In each episode, I have questions for you, and when you take the time to answer them, they'll help in building up your belief about yourself. I believe that when we get good with ourselves, we get good with our lives and the world. Get Out of Your Own Way starts now. Hi, everyone. I'm April Yee, and you are listening to Get Out of Your Own Way on Transformation Talk Radio, episode 2. Each episode, I'll share some thoughtful ideas about self-care, helping you expand what's possible for you and your life. These are things I wish I learned sooner to support myself and get out of my own way. So I hope these ideas are coming to you when you need them. There's a quote from Audre Lorde that goes, "Self-care is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation." Today, I'm talking about how I view self-care and what does self-care even mean? The term self-care has been thrown about somewhat recklessly lately. And from a marketing perspective, it could mean anything from buying fancy bath salts, getting a nice massage, indulging in dark chocolate, having a glass of wine, or drinking a frothy, sugar-filled drink. And yes, these are all things we can do that resemble taking care of ourselves. Unless we're cutting down on sugar or alcohol, then maybe pass on the frothy, sugar-filled drink, the dark chocolate, and the wine. But the point is, from this marketing perspective, we're told to treat ourselves, and that is self-care. And that is only part of the story. Self-care also looks like being out in nature, meditation, yoga, taking a day off from work to enjoy doing things during the day that you're not able to do while you're at work, or taking a day off to rest and be leisurely, staying in pajamas all day, journaling, engaging in a morning routine, having a skincare routine, staying hydrated, or cooking healthy meals. These are all important self-care practices and things that we can do for ourselves. But the way I view self-care is in a transformative way. So what is transformative self-care? There's another quote I'll share from Dr. Wayne Dyer that goes, "When you're at peace with yourself and love yourself, it is virtually impossible to do things to yourself that are destructive." And so transformative self-care teaches us how to love and accept ourselves. Most of us are taught how to care for and treat others well, that we need to do things for others to prove that we are valuable and worthy. So we go out there and try to do all the things out there. We try to get approval from others, and that's how other people's approval of us becomes more important than our own approval of ourselves. We don't even realize, or we forget, that we can approve of ourselves. And so while we're out there trying to get others' approval, that's when we start making choices that might not be aligned with ourselves. We are trying to align with what other people want, what we think other people want us to be, and we forget who we want to be. So going back to Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote, that's when we start making decisions that might be destructive to ourselves. We might say yes when we really want to say no. We might take on a project when we're already overextended and overcommitted. We might stay in a bad relationship or a toxic work environment because we think it's the only one we're worthy of. We might agree with something that is not our truth in order to fit in. We might have one too many glasses of wine to unwind from a stressful day at work, and then go into the next day feeling hungover and not showing up as the best version of ourselves that we'd like to be. And this is some of what destructive things can look like for ourselves. We might think we don't have any other options than to keep doing what we know how to do and what's familiar for us to do, even if it's not in our best interests, just to keep seeking that external approval. And sometimes our society and culture rewards these behaviors, so we really aren't taught how to treat ourselves well, or nicely for that matter. From the media, from other people, from societal standards and cultural values, we hear so many messages about why we aren't good enough the way we are. We need to be more this, less that, richer, skinnier, stronger, better. We're basically told not to love and accept ourselves because we need to be better than we are before we can even consider loving ourselves. And that's just not true. We can love and accept ourselves exactly where we are. And it starts with caring for ourselves. So, what are the 3 pillars of transformative self-care? The 3 pillars that I created for transformative self-care, I created from my own practice of learning how to be kinder to myself. And through therapy and life coaching, I became aware of and started to embody these concepts. So the first pillar is how we think about ourselves. The second pillar is how we speak about and to ourselves. The third pillar is how we treat ourselves. All of this adds up to how we relate to ourselves, and that creates our relationship with ourself. So how we think about ourselves will determine how we speak to and about ourselves. So if we mainly think thoughts that reflect poorly on ourselves, we will likely speak poorly about and to ourselves. And this shows up in self-denigrating language spoken out loud to others like, oh my God, I'm so lame. You'll never guess what I did yesterday. Or to ourselves, I can't believe I messed that up again. Why am I so stupid? Or if we're always denigrating ourselves to others, even in playful, joking ways like, I'm such a dumbass. I can't believe I did that again. Can you believe that? We might take small hits to our self-esteem without realizing it. Our words might be reflecting what we really think about ourselves on a deeper level. I had a client that said to me, she was just starting to date someone and she really liked him and she was very attracted to him. She said he was one of the best looking people that she had ever dated. And so she was saying how she felt really cared for and liked by him too. He was giving her this attention that she wasn't used to. And one of her thoughts was, there must be something wrong with him if he likes me this much. And we talked about that because that reflects on the way that she was thinking about herself. She was thinking that, oh, because I'm not perfect there, and I always think there's something wrong with me. If he likes me this much, there must be something wrong with him. But that's just a reflection on how she's thinking about herself. Because if she thought, oh, like I am great, I'm amazing, I'm a wonderful person, anyone would be lucky to be with me, then the thought there must be something wrong with him if he likes me so much would never cross her mind. The thought would be more like, of course he likes me this much, right? So our words are powerful and we can use them consciously and mindfully. We can use our words to care for ourselves, to support ourselves and build ourselves up. And how we think about ourselves also impacts how we treat ourselves, which is the third pillar. If we don't think we're deserving of care, we will likely not take caring actions towards ourselves, even if we know what to do to take care of ourselves. we might think we treat ourselves pretty well. We practice good dental hygiene. We get a massage every once in a while. We take vitamins. We sleep for several hours most nights. We put food into our bodies regularly. We use the stairs sometimes or park farther away from our destination to get in some extra steps. And these are all beneficial things to do for ourselves. But what else can we do for ourselves to show that we care? One of the strongest ways we can show ourselves that we care is by doing what we say we'll do when it comes to ourselves. So, how would you feel about a friend or someone close to you who tells you they're going to do this or that with you or for you? And then when the day comes to do it, they either call or text to say they can't make it, or they just don't show up at all. After the first time, we'll likely give them some grace, but feel disappointed by the outcome. The second time they do it, we might start to question the validity of their words. And if they do it a third time, we'll see a definite pattern here and probably feel frustrated and give up on believing them. And we might even start to think that they don't really care about us or respect us. And this would be a normal reaction to someone who seems to be unable to follow through on what they say to us, someone who flakes on us. And yet, how often have we flaked on ourselves? Flaking on ourselves means saying we'll do something for ourselves, but at the last minute, we change our mind and don't show up for what we say we do. And when we do this, we show ourselves that we don't take our goals and our desires seriously. We're not caring for ourselves, and sometimes we're not respecting ourselves. And is that how we want to treat ourselves? Then we wonder why our relationship with ourselves can feel so frustrating and why we never do what we say we'll do, why we end up feeling disappointed with ourselves, why we feel discouraged about our goals, why we keep making decisions out of alignment with ourselves. So, how can we stop making decisions out of alignment with ourselves, ones that might be considered destructive to ourselves? And how can we put all of this into practice? The first thing I would offer is to start noticing your thoughts about yourself. I'd like to remind us that our longest relationship is the one we have with ourselves. And what if that relationship was loving, supportive, and kind? And what if we knew that we'd always have our own back, no matter what? What would our lives look like then? To consider the difference, we have to look at what our lives look like now with what we're currently thinking about ourselves and telling ourselves about ourselves. And what this might look like are thoughts that judge, criticize, or put ourselves down. We'd rarely tell people we care about some of the things we're so used to telling ourselves. Things like, there must be something wrong with me. I can never get it right. I don't deserve to have that. This proves I'm not good enough to be chosen. Who do you think you are? You'll never get there. And sometimes we're so used to hearing this judge that we don't know it's there or even saying mean things to us. We just take it as normal. And when we become more aware of what we're telling ourselves and how we're thinking about ourselves, we can start changing that story and narrative. We can start to build ourselves back up, to transform how we think about ourselves. And I want to offer that we had a strong sense of ourselves when we were little kids. Over the years, most of us got that knocked out of us by probably unintentionally by certain adults, society, peers, our culture, and the media. So we can start to think about ourselves intentionally and with kindness and care, and maybe start treating ourselves like our 5-year-old self who is just starting to learn more about the world and other people. And what would we say to that 5-year-old when she or he or they makes a mistake? Or when she is excited about something she's doing? Or when she is sad because something didn't go her way? We can start being more supportive and kind to ourselves with our thoughts about ourselves. So, replacing some of the current thoughts that I mentioned with, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm learning how to get it right. I deserve to have that. I get to choose myself. I am me. That's who. I'm getting closer to where I want to be each day. And the second thing is that we can start noticing how we speak to and about ourselves. So, are you self deprecating? What do you say about yourself to others? Are you verbally minimizing yourself or your efforts? Do you have a hard time accepting compliments and instead you deflect compliments or praise? And what are the mean things you say to yourself? Some examples are, I can't believe I did that again. So stupid. I don't know what I'm doing as usual. Why is this so hard for me? I'm not going to do it anyway, so I just won't even try. I hate the way I look. My hair looks gross today. And with all of this nonsense, we don't need other people telling us we're not good enough because we tell it to ourselves more than enough. So instead of saying, I'm so stupid, I can't believe I did that, you can say, I made a mistake and mistakes are part of learning. Or my hair looks like my hair today. This is hard for me, and that's okay for now. This is the way I look today. And so, with our words about ourselves and to ourselves, we can also start to build ourselves back up slowly. And for the third pillar, you can start noticing how you treat yourself. Do you allow yourself to rest without feeling guilty? Do you allow yourself to make mistakes without beating yourself up? Do you find yourself judging other people about certain things? And if so, where in your life are you doing the same thing or not allowing yourself to do that thing? For example, where are you judging someone for being spontaneous, but you're not allowing yourself to be spontaneous sometimes, or to do something fun just for the sake of it, or to add some little luxury to your life? If we want to start treating ourselves better by keeping our promises and commitment to ourselves, we can start to build trust with ourselves by taking even really small actions. Like, today I'm going to walk around the block at 3 p.m. And then at 3 p.m., we do what we say. We get up and walk around the block. And when we do this, there's a sense of empowerment, a feeling of accomplishing something and fulfilling a promise to ourselves, no matter how small. It feels good to do what I said I would. And we can celebrate that and remember that feeling. And it'll help to reinforce following through with future plans. And this is how we start to strengthen the muscle of trusting ourselves more, knowing that we can have our own back. We can continue to make another small commitment to keep each day. And it could be the same one until it's just automatic for us to keep our word to ourselves, until it feels uncomfortable when we don't keep our word to ourselves. And it might not happen overnight, but it's worth it to keep practicing because we are worth it. And if we haven't been in the practice of keeping our commitments to ourselves, it can take time to build that back up, and take that time. When we get even better at keeping commitments to ourselves, we learn to treat ourselves better in multiple aspects of our lives. We start to know what it truly feels like to take care of ourselves and treat ourselves in the way we want and deserve to be treated. We learn how to have our own back, no matter what. And these are ways to engage in transformative self-care by becoming aware of our relationship with ourselves and to start nurturing it even more. We can discover how we're thinking about, talking about, and treating ourselves in ways that aren't serving us, and start thinking about, talking about, and treating ourselves in ways that do serve us, in ways that we feel good about. And so my message to you is that we can all start getting out of our own way by becoming aware of how we might be getting in our own way. We can start building the foundation of our self-care practice with these 3 pillars. And we don't have to make any changes right away. We can just notice. So notice your thoughts about you. Do you like what you think about yourself? And how do you speak to and about yourself? Do you like what you're saying to yourself and about yourself to others? And how do you treat yourself? Do you allow yourself to enjoy things, or are you always busy doing too many things to actually enjoy them? Do you let yourself have leisure, rest, and playtime? And do you keep your commitments and promises to yourself? In future episodes, I'll be diving deeper into these topics and more to help you get out of your way and get what you want through these transformative self-care practices. I'm so glad you joined me for this episode of Get Out of Your Own Way. To go even deeper, join me for Self-Care Sundays, weekly drop-in sessions where you can find out more at thehealingmodalities.com. And you can also sign up for my weekly newsletter, Self-Care Seeds, there. And thank you for tuning in to Get Out of Your Own Way. Join me every other Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, and 3:30 p.m. Pacific. Next time on Get Out of Your Own Way, I'll be talking about a powerful self-awareness tool called the model. In the meantime, are you aware of the top 3 feelings you feel in a day? As humans, we feel many feelings throughout the day, and sometimes for us, there are a few main ones. So are you open to becoming aware of the top 3 feelings you feel during the day? Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. You have been listening to Get Out of Your Own Way. Get out of your way and get what you want through transformative self-care with me, April Yee. Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. In each episode, I present new questions that support you in building up your beliefs about yourself. To connect with me or for more information, you can email me at thehealingmodalities@gmail.com or visit my website, thehealingmodalities.com. See you soon.